YouTube, Kurt Curtis. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. For those of you who follow my channel for a long time, realize that before about 3 months ago, a huge part of my channel was dividend stocks, because I would take all the money that I would make on eBay and invest into dividend stocks because I didn't need the money. It was extra money. I was still working like a regular job to pay bills and everything. So yeah, and the long-term goal was to one day make enough dividends to pay all my bills. That way I could sell on eBay for a job and not really have to worry about it. But as you guys know, as of about 3 months ago, I quit my regular job and now I sell on eBay full time. So now I need the money for bills and stuff, which I kind of abandoned the dividend stock, just on dividend stocks in general, just on my channel. And I kind of feel bad about it. This video is probably going to be a little bit long. I'm just going to talk about a lot of stuff. If you're not interested in stocks or my story or anything, you know, this might not be for you. There's not going to be anything really eBay related in this video. But so when I was investing in dividend stocks with all my eBay income, like, you know, since I was doing it part-time, a little bit less, but I'd say, you know, once managed payments rolled in, I was investing every week. So before that, I was investing once a month, but then it became every week, and I really liked it. I was probably investing between like $200 to $500 a week, depending on how my week was on eBay. And to some people, that may not sound like a lot of money, but most people in the world, just in general, don't invest at all. So that is like a huge amount of money. It adds up really quickly when you're investing hundreds of dollars a week into stocks, because the stocks grow too, then you're getting payments. Like it skyrockets really quick doing that. And yeah, I really enjoyed it because to be honest, I miss being part of that like community and kind of you know, checking up on the stocks, because I buy stocks and a week later I'm buying more. So I'm always looking what's on sale, what do I want to get into, what position in my portfolio do I want to make bigger. And it was just a weekly thing. It would happen, you know, every week, and it was a lot of fun. And to be completely honest, I really missed that. I know the whole goal of that was so I wouldn't have to work a regular job, and now I've already achieved that goal. But I still feel like I miss it. I really do miss it, and it really sucks. I've been trying to think of ways to how I can invest more. With what I'm doing right now, I do, like, you got to invest, like with your income. You have to. I do a percentage of what I make on eBay, but you guys have seen how slow it's been on my channel. I don't hide the numbers or anything. Like when I'm making in between $300 and $400 on a week, yeah, I invest some of that, but it's very little because I need to. It's a very little percentage compared to what I'm making. Other weeks that I do better, I invest a little bit more, but either way, it's not anywhere close to the $200 to $500 a week I was doing before. I've been doing eBay full-time for about 3 months, and I think I've only bought stocks twice. And typically I'll just save up like $500 and then buy, you know, $500 worth of stocks. So I've only done that twice since in 3 months, when before I would do that probably in like 2-3 weeks. Yeah, so I do miss it a lot. No matter what you're doing, you have to, in my opinion, you got to put money aside to invest. Like whatever it doesn't matter. Like you got to do that first. Like take that percentage out of your money first before you buy anything. People just assume that they get to retire when they're 65. You don't get to retire at 65 if you can't afford to. That's why go to Walmart, go to these places, and you see all these old people working. Now, some of those people work just for fun because they want to keep active and stuff, and that's cool, that's whatever. But a lot of those, I would honestly say most of those people still need the money and they can't retire. It's not like this magic age of 65 appears and you're just done working and you're off the hook. If you can't afford to do it, you don't get to do it. You're working your whole life. Now, people have 401k programs, nothing against those. I have one, or I had one at my other job before I was doing eBay. But in a lot of cases, that's not going to be enough. Unless you're putting a substantial amount aside for that, it's just probably not going to be enough. It might be. If you make good money and work for a very long time at a company, it might be enough, but I don't know. I feel like people just assume that's going to cut it, and it may or may not, depending on your lifestyle. So I think it's good to invest on the side too, even if you have a 401k. Just my opinion, because I did the math on my 401k, And like, even if I had been at my company for 30 years with what I was putting in, even in their match, like the end result was like, you can't retire off that, you know? But I don't know. Some people put more, like, I mean, if you're putting something stupid, like 25% of your check into the 401k, then that's different, maybe, you know? Also with the 401k, your money's tied up until you retire. So you can't retire, I think it's 59 and a half or something for 401ks. So you can't touch that money without getting penalized until then. So basically it forces you to not be able to retire until then. You can't really use that money to retire early if you're able to. Whereas if you got your own portfolio and stuff, the cash is liquid, which could be dangerous because then people are tempted to use it, but you're able to use that money earlier without getting penalized. So there's not like, they're not forcing you to wait until a certain date. But yeah, I don't know. It is what it is, just throwing it out there. So in this video, I'm going to go over my portfolio, all the positions I have, how much I'm up and down on those positions, how much each position takes up of my portfolio percentage-wise. Maybe a couple of them I'll go by quick, a couple of them I might have some stories about the stock or whatever. I'm not going to say how much my portfolio is worth. I'm not here trying to like brag. Like I'm trying to show you I'm just like a regular guy. Like a lot of stock people on YouTube have huge channels, and like of course they have like, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, in their portfolio, because some of those people make like that hundreds of $1,000s a month just on YouTube alone, regardless of what the other stuff they're doing. But I'm just a regular guy. You know, you guys have followed my channel. Most of this portfolio was built up between like basically since I started doing YouTube. I had some money invested in it before. I started investing in 2017. However, I only invested $1,000 for the first like year and a half or something. I really didn't get to start heavy into investing until basically I started YouTube, and I was doing the whole eBay money goes to investing thing. So most of this portfolio was built within less than 2 years, which is crazy. And this was just on the side. So this just shows like, you know, even if you're working like a job and you think you don't have time for stuff and you can never, you know, build wealth or anything like that, like this is an example. Like this was all just on the side. And don't get me wrong, I watch TV and stuff, but instead of watching so much TV, you know, do something like eBay, create a side hustle, some kind of thing, and you can create this. This whole thing was created on the side with my extra time and just hard work. And I'm just a regular guy. I'm honestly not even that smart. Like, you know, people can do this. I'm not going to say the value of my portfolio, but it is 5 figures, so somewhere between 10 and 99,000. Honestly, if you really want to do the math, you can add up all the shares I have in the current share price, which I'm going to put screenshots on the screen, and you could figure it out for yourself. But honestly, you probably have better things to do with your day than do that. But it's a 5-figure portfolio. I have a mix of individual stocks and ETFs. For a while, like, I don't know. So my strategy here with this portfolio, I'm not a buy and sell kind of guy. I'm a buy and hold, and I just collect the dividends. It's a slow grind kind of strategy, and a lot of people don't have patience for it, especially like this day and age. People just don't have patience. They want to buy the cryptocurrency and the AMCs and GameStop, and they just want the quick flip and stuff like that. And that's fine. If people make money on doing that, that's fine. But that's not for me. I just buy, hold, and just collect the dividends. That's kind of just my strategy here. But yeah, so, oh yeah, what I was going to say was every position in my portfolio pays a dividend or distribution. ETFs, it's technically not a dividend, it's distribution. That's basically my strategy. Within that strategy, I don't really have a strategy. I'm kind of all over the place. I have ETFs, I have individual stocks, I have REITs, I have high yield, like income generating positions. And then I also have like low yield ones that are like more long-term that are going to grow. And I have a lot of stuff in the middle. A lot of my positions are companies that raise the dividend, and they have a history of raising the dividend, which is what I like, but not all my positions are like that. So within the dividend strategy, I'm kind of all over the place. And since I've no longer have the same goal of, you know, one day using this to pay bills while doing eBay, since I'm already there, my strategy is kind of, I'm not really sure how to move forward as of right now. But this is what I have currently. I'm not really sure if I should focus more on like high yield or like more income-based stocks. And what I mean by that is like some stocks or ETFs, they're not going to grow in value that quick. It's very slow value. You'll see some of these charts, like the line will just, it goes up, but very slow, but you're going to get a high yield. And then there's other stocks that will pay a lower yield, but they go up way quicker. So you're getting more capital gains. Capital gains are nice. I'm going to show you guys my gains and or losses here, but I'm more focused on what I'm getting is income, but I kind of have just a combination of everything. So first up, 3M, ticker symbol 3M. I have 12.5568 shares of 3M, represents 6.53% of my portfolio, and I am currently up $476.29 on this position. First off, the partial shares is because I reinvest dividends. When you get dividends, there's two things you can do. It either just goes in your brokerage account into the money market section, and then you just have cash, and you can either buy more stocks or cash it out, whatever you want. Or with the brokerage I use, when I buy the stock, there's a little button that says reinvest dividends, and I click it. So say I get $7 dividend payment, and automatically takes that $7 and then buys me more shares of a company. But obviously $7 is not going to buy you a full share, so then you end up with these like partial shares. But these partial shares do still count, so your dividend payment will still increase if you have the partial share. So that's how that works. You can do either way. I've always just reinvested the dividends, but I mean, if some people prefer to just have the dividends go to cash, and then they take those dividends and then they choose what they want to buy. They might want to buy something else instead of have it reinvest. And that's fine too. Either way works. I just do it the reinvest way. That way I don't have to think about it. And that way I'm all like, if I buy a position in something, I'm technically always buying it because every time I'm getting dividend payments, it's buying more shares. So even if I only technically bought a position once, that's not true. I'm buying more shares of that or partial shares every time I get paid in dividends. So that's just the way I do it. But either way works. 3M's current share price is $203.31. I got most of my shares way lower than that. Next up, AT&T, ticker symbol T. I have 60.8625 shares of this company, representing 4.62% of my portfolio. I'm actually down $132.92 on this position. Current share price for AT&T is $29.52. Also, one thing I wanted to mention before I get into this, when you reinvest dividends and then it buys more shares, that counts as like your money. Even though you got the money for free, technically as a dividend payment, it counts as you using your money and purchasing more shares. So when I say I'm up or down, I'm actually like up more because a lot of that money was technically like free money from dividends that then got reinvested and they counted it towards my money. It's kind of weird how that works. I'm not even sure if I explained that right, but it's not counting the dividends. But yeah. So AT&T is interesting. They have a history of raising their dividend every year, but they only do it by like a penny. And they've been doing that for a very long time. They have a reputation of doing that. But this year was the first year so far they haven't raised it. They didn't raise it the penny. They usually do it in the beginning of the year. They just stalled it. So like they're going to lose their like dividend king or aristocrat position if they don't raise it by the end of the year, which would hurt because a lot of these dividend companies, because of that reputation, that's why people buy the stock. Sorry. Also, there's crazy stuff going on with AT&T right now. They're buying out some other company. I haven't looked too much into it. They're buying out some other company. They're talking about cutting the dividend. Like AT&T's dividend is strong. It's like I think around 7% or something, but they're thinking about cutting it to like 4%, which is still decent in my opinion. And a lot of people are freaking it out, but they're buying like this other company. And I don't even know how it all works, but some crazy stuff's going down with AT&T. They're like they're redoing their whole strategy and everything. And a lot of people are selling out of the company and buying other shares of stock because the yield is going to go down. I'm going to hold on. I'm just going to hold on to it. I don't know. I've always bought AT&T. I've always liked it. It's always paid me. So, but I understand why people would sell it and move the money to a different position. But yeah, I'm deciding to keep it. Next up, Apple, ticker symbol AAPL. I own 35.8665 shares of this company. I'm currently up $2,028.36. My position represents 11.40% of my portfolio, so good chunk of my portfolio. That's not my fault though. Like, I bought Apple and it just keeps going up and keeps going up and keeps going up. Like, I bought Apple before the split at around, I think like I bought my first $1,000 share, like chunk of shares for like 185 bucks or something. I remember at the time I almost didn't even do it because when I first started eyeballing Apple, it was around $150. And I was like, oh man, I could get it cheaper, wait for it to go down. Never went down. It went to like what, $400 or $500, and then it split, and now it's already back up to current share price is $123.53. It's crazy, man. I made a ton of money on Apple. Apple's a dividend payer, but they have a very small yield, super small yield. Most of your money you're going to make on Apple is the gains. Even though it's a very small yield, this is like one of my favorite dividend stocks. They have the potential to grow the dividend. They grow it every year, but they have so much potential to grow it more in the future. Their payout ratio, I believe, is like 25%, maybe even less. I'm not for sure on that number, but so the payout ratio is how much money, the percentage of money that the company makes that goes to dividend people. So some companies like 70, 80%, even more, up to 90% of their total like profits go to paying shareholders dividends. So like at that point, they don't have as much room to grow it. Whereas a company like this with the low payout ratio, they got so much room to grow this dividend in years to come. But yeah, I made a ton of money in Apple. I don't know, I think it's kind of slowed down recently, but like Apple is like the easiest money in my opinion to make. They just like buy the shares, they just go up. It's not like they go up super fast though, but it does go up. I'm up over $2,000 on this position. Next up, this is my worst purchase ever. CCL. I have 13.408 shares of that. Represents only 1.06 of my portfolio, which is very good. I'm actually down $195.49 on this position. So this is a cruise line company. They were a good dividend paying stock. I bought this maybe 6 months before coronavirus happened, and obviously cruise lines are basically can't run. The stock just tanked. They cut their dividend, and yeah, it just complete fail. It's slowly going back up now. I held on to my, I'm holding on to my shares because I think it might take a long time, maybe even years, but once this company gets back on track, once people start going on cruises again, I think they're going to start paying a dividend again. But you just can't predict that. You can't predict the coronavirus. And out of my entire portfolio, I only had 2 positions cut their dividend, which is pretty good for like a huge event like what coronavirus was. So many businesses went out of business, and then all my positions not only didn't go out of business, but continued to pay their dividends, and most of them continuing to raise their dividends. So overall, my selections of stocks have been very good, and I'm definitely not even a pro. I'm not a pro at all. But yeah, so not too bad for only 2 positions to stop paying during coronavirus. Like, I'll take that. That's kind of why you buy a bunch of positions. Like if you had half your portfolio into this stock and then a tank like that, man, you're screwed. But yeah, that was a terrible buy. But the only reason that happened was because of the coronavirus. And I'm going to keep the shares I have. Will I buy more shares of this company? Probably not, because I know they can't withstand something like this if something like this ever happens again. But like I said, this is only 1.06% of my portfolio. It's not a big deal. Drink here real quick. Next up, we got Charles Schwab Corporation, ticker symbol SCHW. I own 22.1955 shares of this company, representing 4.27% of my portfolio. I'm up $878.78. Current share price is $74.85. I don't think I said the share prices for some of these, but I'll have the screenshots up on the screen. You can see what it's currently going for. This company, like, I wasn't even planning on buying it, but like during the whole like 2020 when the stock market was tanking and stuff, like I just bought shares of this for super cheap, man. Like I wish I would have bought more. They just went up. I have a hard time buying more of this at the price it's at now, when I got for like seriously like almost half price or something of what it is now. Like it was just stupid. They pay, when I bought it, it was a decent dividend, but now that the share price has gone up so high, I think they're only paying like around 1% now, but that's not what I got it at. Next up, Hormel Foods, ticker symbol HRL. I own 30.1633 shares, representing 3.83% of my portfolio. I'm up $65.79 on this position. Current share price is $49.61. This is like one of the newest positions in my portfolio. This was like the last thing I was like trying to build up and buying. It's just a solid dividend stock. It's going to go up as time goes, and decent dividend, good history, raises dividend. Nothing to complain about there. Boring stock, but that's what I like. That's good dividend stocks are typically boring. Next up, Johnson & Johnson, ticker symbol J&J. I own 18.6732 shares of this company, representing 7.99% of my portfolio. I'm up $639.85. Current share price is $166.78. Love Johnson & Johnson. Great dividend stock. Respectable yield. They always raise their dividend. Stock price goes up slowly, but it continues to go up. Can't complain. Love Johnson & Johnson. Next up, Chase, ticker symbol JPM. I own 11.2926 shares of this company, representing 4.81% of my portfolio. I'm up $810.78. This is another company that I was buying during 2020 when everything just tanked. Current share price is $166.04. I was buying this at like less than $100 all day during 2020. Yeah, I made like a bunch off of this. Plus they paid decent dividend. They raise it. Everything's good. Next up, McDonald's, ticker symbol MCD. I own 9.1607 shares of this. Represents 5.43% of my portfolio. I'm currently up $312.18. McDonald's kind of pricey. Current share price is $230.61. I love McDonald's stock. The share price is high, but McDonald's is kind of like a real estate company too. They like own the land that they lease out the franchises to. McDonald's is crazy, man. The stock price just keeps going up. Dividend keeps getting paid. Dividend keeps getting raised. Gotta love it. Next up, Pepsi, ticker symbol PEP. I own 10.1312 shares. This company, representing 3.83% of my portfolio. I'm up $120.74. Pepsi is just a great company too. You know, people try to pick between Pepsi and Coca-Cola. I have both. I'd like to have more of this, but it's kind of pricey too. Yeah, $147.22 a share right now. Yeah, at least I got a good chunk though. So next up, Procter & Gamble, ticker symbol PG. I own 11.2321 shares of this company, representing 3.87% of my portfolio. I'm up $162.64. Procter & Gamble is one of those companies like Johnson & Johnson, just classic dividend company. Always raises their dividend. Price of the stock always continues to grow. This is a lesson I learned, same with the Apple thing. But Apple, I made the move on and bought it, even though like I wanted to get it lower. Procter & Gamble, I didn't. When I was first eyeballing Procter & Gamble, it was around $75 a share, and I didn't pull the trigger on it. It's currently at $134.31 a share. And I was like, oh, I can get it cheaper. I'll wait for it to go down. Never went down, continued to go up. I don't remember exactly what I paid for my shares of Procter & Gamble, but it was definitely over $100. So some people always wait for like the super sale or the 52-week low to buy something. Like it might not get to that ever again, and you could miss your opportunity. But even at the share price now, like 10 years from now, like some people might be, oh, 134 is too expensive for Procter & Gamble right now. 10 years from now, 134 is going to seem like a steal. Next up, Starbucks, ticker symbol SBUX. I have 15.5941 shares of this company, representing 4.43% of my portfolio. I'm up $560.04 on this position. Current share price is $110.58. Man, you could have cashed out on Starbucks during the pandemic in 2020. This thing was like as low as $50 at one point. I didn't buy any during 2020, but I bought my shares like even before that. I think for around like $75 a share, maybe 70. I don't remember, but yeah, Starbucks they're raising their dividend. They're raising it aggressively. I don't know how long they can continue to do that, but for now, it's been always good to me. So yeah, I'd have a hard time buying it at this share price, but I don't know. Last individual stock, Coca-Cola, ticker symbol KO. I have 28.8846 shares of this company, representing 4.11% of my portfolio. I'm up $173.40 on this position. Coca-Cola is just a classic dividend stock. It's a good like beginner stock too, I would say, because the share price is usually hangs out between like 50 and $55. Right now it's at $55.38 a share. but it's good, kind of like cheaper stock that's really solid. And I don't know, it's a good starter stock, I would say. Solid dividend yield, always raises it, blah, blah, blah. Problem with Coca-Cola, though, you're probably not going to get that much, like the capital gains and all that. From what I remember, it usually always just hovers between 50, 55 bucks around there. So most of your money you're going to make on this is from the dividend, but it is a decent yield. So just keep that in mind, though. Next up, I'm going to talk about the REITs that I own. A REIT is a real estate investment trust. It's basically a stock. It trades like a stock. It is a stock, but it's a real estate stock. And the main difference is that, so there's two types of dividends you can get. Most people should know this, but if you don't know, there's ordinary income and there's qualified dividends. So ordinary income is basically like how you would get taxed at your job. Depending on your income, you get taxed what income bracket you're in, you get taxed at that. I mean, from my experience, work usually takes like 20% out of my paycheck for taxes and stuff. So ordinary income or ordinary dividends, that's how you're going to get taxed. You get taxed on dividends. It counts as income. It's money you're making. You get taxed on it. It's really easy, though. You just get a sheet at the end of the year, like a 1099 is just kind of like a W-2. All the info's there. You just type it in or give it to your tax person. It's not a big deal. It's not a reason to not invest because you're going to get taxed. Like if you're making money, you're going to get taxed. So you do get taxed on dividends. So ordinary income, you're going to get taxed at whatever rate you get taxed at for, like, working at your job, making regular money. So real estate investment trusts, their dividends are considered ordinary income. Now, individual stocks, like everything I just mentioned before I got to this point, it's qualified dividends. You get taxed less on that. I don't know the percentage, depends on your income and everything, but don't quote me on this number. But I think it's like, for example, say you're getting taxed like 20% on ordinary income, you might get taxed like 15% on qualified dividends. So something like that. There's a lot more to it that I don't even understand, but it's something like that. If you have qualified dividends, you're getting taxed less on it. So real estate investment trusts, as well as ETFs, or the majority of them, are ordinary income, so you get taxed higher on it. However, a lot of real estate investment trusts pay a high yield, so it kind of just evens it out, in my opinion. But some people don't like it. And not all of them, but a lot of them pay monthly too. Like, so if you want to invest in real estate, but you don't want to buy real estate, you can buy these REITs, real estate investment trusts, and it's basically like you own part of their real estate. And a lot of them pay monthly because if you'd own real estate, you would get rent every month. So it's really cool how it works. These three that I have all pay monthly. And yeah, just throwing that out there, though, about the taxes, because it does make a difference, but these typically pay like a higher yield. First is Realty Income, ticker symbol O. I have 25.7998 shares of this company, representing 4.65% of my portfolio. I'm up $194.90. Current share price is $70.10. This is probably the most popular REIT out there. It's been raising the dividends since like the 90s. It's been paying monthly dividends since the 90s. This company raises their dividend every quarter, but very small raises, but still every quarter. If you have a huge position in this, it can make a big difference. But yeah, it's in the S&P 500. This is just probably the biggest, best, most popular REIT there is out there, and it's been nothing but good to me. Yeah, I love this. It pays monthly. I don't know what more I can say. Next up, another REIT I have is LTC Properties. I have 23.5047 shares of this company, representing only 2.39% of my portfolio. I'm actually down $137.61. Current share price is $39.54. Before I talk about this, though, Realty Income, they do like triple net leases, and how they make their money is they just own all these properties and they like lease them out to like businesses, like if you go to the website, you can see everything that they have thousands and thousands, like, like all kinds of stuff to like gyms. Actually, they did pretty well during the pandemic for like a lot of the stuff that they own, like didn't do well in the pandemic. I don't know, gyms, Home Depots, like I think like FedEx buildings and stuff, like 7-Elevens, dollars, like all kinds of stuff they own, and that's how they make their money. But yeah, LTC Properties. I bought like one tranche of this a long time ago. I'm going to keep it. Probably not buying more of this company though. At the time, I wasn't really looking at companies raising their dividends, but like this company pays a solid yield, don't get me wrong, and they've done good for me. They paid all through the pandemic and everything, but they don't raise the dividend. They've been paying, I think, 19 cents a share for as long as I can see the history of them. So they don't consistently raise this every year, which maybe they do eventually, hopefully. But because they don't, I'm definitely keeping the shares that I have, but I'm probably not buying more of these. Doesn't mean it's not good. It has a solid yield as it is. So, I mean, kind of doesn't need to raise it, but it is nice to have that raise. But this was something I bought a long time ago when I wasn't really looking at that, when I should have been, because I didn't know what I was doing as much. But yeah, just something to throw out there. Doesn't mean it's bad though. Next up, the last REIT I have is ticker symbol APLE, Apple Hospitality REIT. This is like, this REIT owns like a bunch of hotels and stuff. This was the other position that stopped paying during the pandemic. I only have 8.1423 shares of this, representing only 0.33% of my portfolio. This is nothing. I'm surprisingly up $24.49. Current share price is $15.96. This is something I was just buying because the price of the stock was so low. So if I made a big purchase, like bought like $500 of Johnson & Johnson stock or something, and then I had some change left over, instead of letting that just sit in my portfolio, I would pick up a share of this or something just to get some money going. So I only have 8 shares of this. They were paying, I think, 10 cents a share. This is a REIT, but this is another company that wouldn't raise it. And then during the pandemic, they had to cut the dividend to nothing. So that sucks. I still held on to my shares though, because the share price is still doing good. And as of recently, they actually brought the dividend back, but they're only paying 1 cent a share and only now paying quarterly instead of monthly. So it went from 10 cents a month to 1 cent every quarter. I think once stuff clears up, I think this company will raise their dividend back to normal, but it might take a while. I'm going to hold on to my 8 shares. It's not a big deal. Like, this is like, I seriously have like less than $100 into this position. So I don't know, it is what it is, but that was one of the ones that kind of stopped paying during the pandemic. And yeah, those are the only REITs I have, just the 3. Next up, I have 4 ETFs. ETFs, at least these 4, and I think the majority of them, they count as ordinary income as well. Now, the pros of ETFs is you got a bunch of stocks mashed into one stock. So it's automatic diversification. It's less risky. You know, if I have an ETF that has, you know, CCL and APLE in there, and those 2 companies stop paying their dividend, it probably doesn't matter, because I probably have 48 or 98 or 498 other companies in that ETF that are just drown it out. You know, it doesn't go down that much. But yeah, so first up, SCHD. This is a Schwab Dividend ETF. I own 26.055 shares of this company, representing, or not company, ETF, representing 5.14% of my portfolio. I'm up $817.57. Current share price is $76.92. This was the first thing I ever bought when investing my first $1,000. I bought this ETF. At the time, the share price was like $44, but this was back in like 2017. So yeah, I mean, they pay quarterly. Problem with ETFs though, like with individual stocks, we'll use AT&T for example. I think they're paying like what, 52 or 53 cents a share. So you know that's what you're getting paid, as long as they don't mess with the dividend, which they could. And as long as the company doesn't mess with the dividend, you know what you're going to get each quarter, pretty much. With ETFs, it's different. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse. It depends on how all the companies perform within the ETF. So there's no solid, I own this company, this is their dividend. That's what's good about individual stocks, is you know what they pay. And unless they, you know, get rid of their dividend or something, you just know what to expect. With ETFs, you don't. Like, for instance, I've gotten, I don't know, just an example. It's not like concrete numbers or anything, but SCHD, I mean, I've gotten like, you know, $11 a quarter, and I've gotten as much as like $15, $16 a quarter, and everything in between. So you don't really know exactly what you're going to get, but you do. The pros are you got all the companies in one, the diversification. So there's pros and cons to ETFs. And I don't know, for a while I was thinking about getting rid of all my ETFs and just buying individual stocks, but like all of my ETFs been performing so good for me. So I'm just keeping them. I don't know. For right now, I'm keeping them. But yeah, for some people that aren't interested in individual stocks and don't think it's fun looking it all up and stuff, ETFs are great. You know, you could honestly find like maybe 2, 3, 4 ETFs and just those 4, and that's all you would need in your portfolio if they're good ones. And because some ETFs could have thousands of companies all in one ETF, you could have one ETF and just put your money into that and you'd be fine. You know, but maybe you want a few. But for people that don't want to mess with all the individual stocks and the risk involved, like, you know, one company losing your dividend through coronavirus, like if that happens in an ETF, the other companies pick up the slack type thing. It's completely acceptable and fine to just own a few ETFs in your portfolio, and you'd be good to go. But yeah, SCHD was the first thing I ever bought. It's been nothing but good to me. It been paying the dividends or distributions. Share price has gone up. If you look at the chart here on the screen, it's gone nothing but up. Next up is SPHD. This is an Invesco dividend-based ETF. I have 103 shares, 103.5323 shares of this company, representing 12.10% of my portfolio. That's big. I'm up $1,000.14. No, $1,014.05 on this position. This is a monthly paying ETF, which is why I kind of liked it. However, the share price goes up and then down and then up, and it tanked, and then it's been slowly recovering. So, you know, the share price goes up on this, but very slowly. Like, this is not something you're going to buy and the share price is going to be $100 5 years from now. You're buying this because you want the income. It has a solid yield. But once again, since it's an ETF, you don't have the exact amount that you're getting paid every month. However, this one is pretty consistent. I think it's around like 15 cents a share, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, but it's more consistent than SCHD. SCHD is kind of all over the place, but it does pay you monthly. It is nice, but you're not going to get the share price to go up that much, you know? Like if you look at the ETF before this, SCHD, last 5 years, it's gone up like almost double, not quite, but almost double. SPHD, I don't know without looking at the chart, but I would say at most it's only gone up like $10 in the last 5 years. So you're making your money through income here. This is something you buy if you want the income and you're not concerned about, you know, your gains. That brings me to the next ETF, very similar one to SPHD. This is ticker symbol PEY, another Invesco one, Dividend Achievers ETF. I have 78.719 shares of this, representing 4.30% of my portfolio. I'm up $489.82. Current share price is $21.27. This is very similar to SPHD. Same company, Invesco, pays out monthly. This is just a cheaper version of it. Shares only $21. Most of my shares I bought for way less than that. But same thing as SPHD. All the same stuff applies. Honestly, probably don't need this one. You probably don't need both, but I have both. It is what it is. Maybe it's a mistake, maybe not. A lot of the companies in both those last two ETFs I talk about are similar, so it's very similar to the other ETF. Last up, last position, ticker symbol SPLV. This is another Invesco, like S&P 500 ETF. Has $31.38. No, I have 31.38 shares, representing 4.90% of my portfolio. I'm up $203.23. Current share price is $60.90. This is an interesting ETF. I like this one. This pays monthly, but the yield is way lower than the other monthly paying ones I have. Like way lower. I think only around like 2%, maybe even less. But if you look at the share price, it slowly goes up over time. So I figured I'd add this to my portfolio to kind of balance it out, because the other two monthly paying ones aren't really going up that much. I mean, they have gone up. I've made money on them. I'm up over $1,000 on SPHD, but you know, the share price is very slow to go up. This one, if you look at the chart, it goes up like a lot quicker. So I figure this is a good, nice little balance. Plus this pays monthly. A lot of these kind of ETFs like this wouldn't pay you monthly. I thought that was very unique for this one. So I picked up shares. Am I going to buy a lot more of this one in the future? I don't know, probably not, but I got a nice little chunk, 4.90% of my portfolio. It's been good. So, but yeah, smaller yield, but this is more of a gains type thing. See, in the portfolio, I have like all kinds of it's not all just income. It's not all stocks like SPHD, PEY, AT&T, stuff like that, where it's like the stock goes up very slowly, if not at all. Coca-Cola, but then pays a good yield. I got those. I got stuff like Apple and SPLV, where they pay a smaller yield, but their price goes up. I got a bunch of stuff in the middle, so I got kind of everything. I'm not really, that's just kind of how I do it. As long as it's paying me money somehow, I'm okay with it. So overall in my portfolio, I am up $8,511.29, which is 28%. This is since 2017. But like I said, the first couple of years, I didn't really invest too much. But that's good. Like, I'm just a regular dude. I'm not like expert stock picker. Like, I don't know, I just kind of go off of the classic good companies that have a good history. And even then, you're not guaranteed anything. But I mean, I don't think you have to be smart to realize that McDonald's is probably not going out of business in our lifetime. Is it possible? Sure. Is it likely to happen? Nah, man, McDonald's isn't going out of business. Are you kidding me? So like, it's a safe bet in my opinion. So those companies I mainly go for. I've strayed off that strategy here and there, but for the most part, like that, I don't buy stuff that like some startup company I'm going to predict that's going to go good. I'm just not smart enough to figure all that out. Yeah, I'm just not. Like, I can't analyze like a company, predict it's going to do good in 10 years and stuff. I don't know, man. I just buy the classic, boring grandpa dividend stocks that pay a consistent stream of income, and that's what I go for here. I think that's everything. I think I covered everything. But yeah, that's my portfolio. Honestly, because of the whole eBay thing and I'm using money now, I don't get to add to this portfolio as much as I'd like to. And it kind of sucks. And it's very tricky though, because with eBay, you can make unlimited money. It's just how much time and work you put into it. Obviously, there's some luck involved too. So it's kind of hard to be like, oh, well, let me do something on the side of eBay and then use that money to invest, because then I'm just taking away time from eBay, which you could just make unlimited money there. It's not like you're capped off. It's not like a job. You're paid per hour. You work this many hours a week. You're capped off. So in order to make more money, you have to do something else. With eBay, it's unlimited. So it's a very tough situation. I'm just not making enough on eBay where I can like invest how much I really want to be investing. But that's just how it is right now. So my plan in the future was maybe for YouTube to take that role, is like the side income that I could just 100% dump into investing. But I mean, I've been on YouTube for a long time. Publicly, I've only been on for like, I guess in August would be like 2 years. So I've been on almost 2 years, and I think I have like 290 subscribers right now. So at this rate, it would take me probably another, let's see, 5 years to hit the 1,000 to even potentially get monetized. So that's probably honestly not going to happen, but I'm still going to continue to do it. Maybe, who knows? But even if you have 1,000 subscribers and you're monetized, like, that's just like chump change. Even a channel with like 10,000 subs is kind of really small channel, to be honest. So, but it would be nice to get some kind of money in, even if it was like $20 a month, and I could feel good that I'm like using that side money to invest or something like that. So maybe in the future, but I mean, just at the rate my YouTube channel's going, that's just probably not even a realistic option. But who knows, maybe one day. Thank you guys for watching. Haven't talked about dividend stocks in a very long time. Just wanted to go over my portfolio, because before I used to do the monthly things, show you what paid every month. But here's just an overview of everything I have. Kind of my strategy. My strategy is probably going to change going forward. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do, just because I have to be very selective if I'm investing less on like what I'm going to buy. Before, it was like every week, what do I want to buy? What do I want to buy? I could open up a new position. I can add to this, blah, 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 this, that. Now it's like, all right, I'm only buying every once in a while. What do I really want to buy? Thank you guys for watching. Until next time.